Okay, guys. So this is the last thing we have for today's class. The last thing we have for today's class. Then, so we have here a list of students. We have here a list of students. And their date of birth, their student ID, and so on. Sometimes people give you the data in a way that it's hard for you to work with. They give you the data in a hard way. So what I'm looking for here, for example, is the full name. The data that the university gave me is their first name and their last name. And I want to wait for it to be merged together. Okay, I can either look at it and say, okay, Taylor Arden, okay, and do the same thing over and over again. Dominic Carminelli. And here, you're prone to make a lot of errors. في أخطاء وايد راح تحوشك. Okay, what is a better way to do it? Is to make it computerized, to make the computer do it. All you have to do is I want Taylor, and then I want the family name, صح? Equals D, anything you find in column D, and then you look for the AND function. And the last name. Anything you find for the last name. There's a problem that you're going to see when this happens, and that's they're going to merge the names together. Is that how you want it to be displayed? Then. So plan B is to do equals Taylor and شلون احط طريقه ان نخلي فتشه بينهم. What's an idea that you can come up with? You want to put space, and you cannot put space inside a function. Space inside a function has a different meaning. So what you should do, if it's a text that you're trying to put in, you always put it in a quotation mark. So you say quotation, space, quotation. على طول function, the function is going to understand that, okay, you want me to say Taylor, and then and أشبكها if space. And تشبكها بالعائلة. Enter. Okay, Taylor Arden. Okay, keep in mind, guys, in the quotation marks, you can write anything you want. Call this down. Okay, down space. And you're going to see that happening. Okay, inside the quotation marks, you can write anything you want, and it'll translate into the function. Remove down. خليها space واحد. مو spaceين. Taylor Arden. You're done. Double click this. You have the names of all of your students. You have the names of all of your students. 1. Number 2. Sometimes the opposite happens. Sometimes they give you the name of the student, his full name, and what you want is you want to separate them. You want to separate the first name with the last name. So here, what you would do, you would highlight everything. Go to data. Go to text to columns. Text to columns. Okay. What we want to do is delimit them. Click next. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to separate two texts from each other. It gives you many options. So what separates, it's asking me, how do you want to separate them? Anything that has a tab between it? This is the answer. Nothing is separated. Okay. Do you want anything that has space between it? Click space. Okay. Once you click space, it separated anything that is before the space and after the space. Okay. Whenever there's a space, it puts it in a new column. Okay. Sometimes you want to separate anything that has a comma next to it, a semicolon next to it. Okay. Or sometimes, which is a trick that you would do for your own, is you would put your own separator. انت تحط لك شغله and you separate. ان اي شيء فيها 3 spaces ورا بعض separated. Okay. Then, so what we did here is anything that has a space, that means put it in a new column. So it gives me a brief. إن الشيء اللي راح يسويه ممتاز. What format do you want to put it? Just in a general format, click finish. There's already data here. Do you want to replace it? Yes, please. الاسم الأول هنا, first name, and the last name is over here. Okay, here we merged the names, here we separated the names. 3. I have their date of birth. Let me get the year of birth. Very, very straightforward. Equals year. It'll read this and understand that this is a date, and it'll just give you the year of this date. Okay. إذا تبي تسوي a function of month equals month, and you do the same thing. January. So January 1994. نفس الحالة شباب. You go down to the end, copy paste it, and it'll give you all of the data that you need. It's just small tricks that'll help you out whenever you need them. Trick number 3. Sometimes you want your Excel sheet to be dynamic. For it to be dynamic, you want the date to change continuously on the top. You want it to always have the same date. So there's a function called today. Okay, you don't have to do anything, just click today and it gives you the date. And whenever you open the sheet again, you don't have to change the date. يغير. يدري ان تاريخ اليوم شنو يحط لك اياه. Sometimes you don't want the date. You actually want a precise time. You want the Excel function to change by the minute or by the second. There's another function called now. Okay, and it does the same thing. شو المشكلة الحين? When you click now, it gives you the same type of information as today. And the reason is because both of them, if you go to the home page and you look over here, both of them are treated as dates. Both of them are treated on are presented as dates. For the now button, for the now cell, change it from day to time. يعطيك الوقت. Okay. It has all of the information. So if you change today into any time, ما راح يعطيك إياه. يتوهق الفانكشن. Okay. Also today you want it as a normal date, or you want it as a long date. Okay. Okay, guys. So this changes automatically. The now function changes automatically to show you the exact timing, and today changes automatically to show you the التاريخ نفسه, the date, the actual date. Then now what I have here, we already did this, is we have the VLOOKUP. I have student IDs over here and I want to see what their names are. Okay, there's a VLOOKUP function and there's a new function. 90% of you should have it, some of you shouldn't if you have the old Excel sheets. Equals X lookup. So look up for this value. I'm looking for the student ID in this place. And if I find it, what's the return array? I want you to give me the merged names. Okay, everything's fixed. Oh, everything is fixed. You double click, you go here and here. Okay. So here we're just introducing the XLOOKUP function. The XLOOKUP is the same as the VLOOKUP, but once you use it, you'll realize it's much more simpler. You just have 2 entries to make. Second tab, number analysis. شباب تبوني ابطئ ولا guys. Then text analysis. We went through all of this, how to merge, how to separate, how to choose a year, month, and how to use XLOOKUP. Number analysis. So many times they give me your student IDs. These are your student IDs. Based on the student ID, can I know which year you entered KU? Sean? هي أول 3 أرقام. First 3 numbers. 216. What does 216 mean? يعني دفعة 2016. Okay. زين. فأنا أبي أعرف. I want to know which year did you enter KU? أقدر I have 2 methods. كسلان شو يقول؟ You use the function equals left. You go here. This is the text and it's asking me for the number of characters. فكم character أخذ عبد الله؟ ف 216 معناته دفعة 2016 صح؟ But you don't want to present it like this, guys. You never presented 216 and the other party should understand that it's 2016. There's another way to do it. Equals mid. Equals mid. لأن احنا ما نبي الاثنين احنا بس 16 صح؟ Equals mid. You go here, comma. So okay, I understand you don't want to take all of the numbers on the left. You want to take somewhere in the middle, صح? So tell me where do you want me to start? And I tell him I want you to start on the second. I want you to start on the second number you find, comma. And how many characters after the second number? 2 characters. أنت سليم. So what this function did, شباب, this function did is it looked at this cell and I told him, look, start from the second number, which is 1, and take 2 numbers. So 1 and 6. هني أعطاني إياه بشكل أوضح. هني أقول والله here as I say it's 16. So 16 I assume it's 2016. صح? So this guy did the job better than this guy. Okay? وهذا الشخص ما سوى, he didn't do any work at all. Just gave you the code and I hope you know that the first the middle 2 numbers are 2016. Okay? If you want to present something, try to perfect it as much as you can. What I really want is for this to show as 2016, 2016. When I tell you which year did this guy enter KU, I want the function to show me 2016. How can I do that? الحين أعطيتكم أنا شغلتين المفروض تجمعون مع بعض. I gave you 2 things you could do together. When you say that, give me the actual year. Give me the actual year. اللي أقدر أسوي يا جماعة equals 20 and هذا يعطيني 2016. أو لما تسوي to function 20 and داخل function داخل function. You put a function inside a function and mid هذا you start 2 and number of characters 2. أنا بختار خليتها. I took this function and I put it inside here. So it says it's gonna give me equals 20 and the middle number from the student ID starting from the second number and taking 2 characters. من هذا أعرف كل واحد أي دفعة في جامعة الكويت. The last thing and then we'll call it a day يا جماعة. آخر خطوة علينا الحين. Okay, real estate analysis. This you've done it before, but let's show it for you guys. So one of the problems we're dealing now with the Ministry of Justice to work on this. Ministry of Justice gives you data on all the real estate transactions. شنو المشكلة هم وياهم? Okay, they don't have a good protocol on entering data. هم يدخلون الأسامي كذي. Okay, so if you remember when we used this slide, I told you that you shouldn't type the name Taylor Arden. You shouldn't type it in. Then sometimes you might miss a space, you might miss something. If you use computers, the number of errors is close to 0. Okay, if you type it manually, there is room for error. What's the problem with the Ministry of Justice? The Ministry of Justice, when they enter the data, okay, they enter it manually. So one of the problems that we've seen with them, for example, is Abu Ftaira. Sometimes the employee puts it مع تاء مربوطة آخر شيء. Sometimes they put it مع حاء. Sometimes الألف معها همزة. Sometimes الألف ما معها همزة. The computer grammar has different things. Sometimes they call it Abu Ftaira next to each other. Sometimes they say Abu space Ftaira. عليك أنت يعني كم all the variations that happen. Okay, if they use a specific protocol, Abu Ftaira is written like this, and then everything is linked to it, they're not going to have any of these problems. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have, these are all of the transactions. Okay, we have hundreds of them. How much did he put? No, I actually put 4,000 transactions, 4,000 transactions. Okay, I want to know how many of them is Al Zahra. What's the total amount of sales that happened in Zahra, and what's the average sale that happened in Zahra? So we started with the first one, which is unique. Just give me the land area, the unique names for each land area. Okay, you're gonna see, guys, that there's a name that's repeated twice. Which name do you see as repeated twice? شنو هو؟ وين الرميثية؟ الرميثية موجودة تحت هني، والرميثية موجود هني فوق. ايوه، الرميثية موجودة، ابو فطيرة موجودة. قلت الغلطات؟ واحدة منهم maybe there's a space, there's not a space. Okay? But this is the pure data that we get from the Ministry of Justice. Okay. I want to know how many transactions happened in each of them. Equals count if. You're always going to see, guys, count if and count ifs. Most of the time, 80% of the time plus, you would use the ifs with the S. Okay? So, criteria range, which is all of the areas. Fix it. And your criteria is it should be Zahra. So count the number of times in the مواقع you read the name Zahra. So sometimes it lags a bit just for it to make the calculations. Okay, so Zahra was read 217 times. Okay, you look at the transactions. Where's the most transactions happening? Where are most of them happening? راح تشوفون الفنيطيس والمسائل. عفوا الفنيطيس اي بله فنيطيس ومسائل. A lot of the transactions happening. Okay. Then now I want you to add sum if. Same concept. Equals sum ifs. The sum range, which is the themin, the value of the transaction. The criteria range. المنطقة. And the criteria is Zahra, for example. Double click. Okay. جمع لكم كل المبيعات اللي صارت حق كل منطقة. So I know Zahra, there's a total of 100 million KD of sales that happened. Al-Andalus 130. Nayatis Masai 360, 390 respectively. And so on. Okay. Final part, it's always the same concept, average ifs. You want to average. أنا بعرف, what I'm trying to know is the average sales per square feet of each transaction. So you realize that this is this column, سعر المتر اللي محطوطة هنا. سعر المتر. The average range is what I'm looking for. هو سعر المتر. Fixed, comma. The criteria range is the same. which is المواقع. And the criteria is Al-Zahra for this, and Al-Zahra for this one, and Al-Andalus, Lufnatis, and so on for the rest. Okay. Based on this, guys, the averages. Which one is the most expensive area in Kuwait? Just by looking at the latest transactions. Which one is the most expensive area? فهمتوا؟ in a minute average صار لكم يعني. You don't have to go through all of the data.